This is the Mazz and Bads Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.
Welcome into a Monday evening edition of the Mazz and Bads Show. Unfortunately, unaccompanied by our producer, Mr. Anthony Cafone tonight. He's out at the gym, pumping some iron right now on the grind. Shout out, Mr. Anthony Cafone. But Mazz, here we are on a Monday night. Not our usual time slot, but we had some dying matters to attend to after some fighting words were exchanged yesterday. Unfortunately, not by either of us, but by Anthony.
I just don't know how you're going to make that kind of a statement than not being here and then, we're losing out on the background, but that's all right. But before we get into everything, just speaking of backgrounds, I want to apologize for the mess that's going on right here. But, however, as you know, my temporary home being in Kiara's office, the clothes back there are really helping out, the mic situation,
for sure.
Because we just didn't have enough, pillows in here and stuff. That pile is there. My mom's going to kill me for even showing this right now. The house got to be immaculate, as if, all parties, whatever, is going to be thrown in my room every time there's an event at this place. And then just to show, an internet audience, she'd lose her mind if she finds out, which I'll probably tell her in about 30 minutes anyway, because I think it would be funny. But Shorty crashed out on me last night, Charlie. I messed up. a little bit. It wasn't the biggest mess up in the world, but I was a little ridiculous, and I messed up.
Let's hear it. I gotta know.
I just want to make sure that you were interested. I have a favorite pair of jeans. For those that don't know, Mazz only likes to wear two brands of jeans. There's Lucky brand, which I didn't know that I like until this Christmas because somebody bought me them. They're really good. And I have just an obsession with Buffalo jeans. I think they're the best jeans on the planet. I'm a jean guy. You can normally find me in jeans. And there's just a brand that I like. There's a size 38. Your boy's a 40, but there's a size 38 in this house somewhere that has been missing for a week and a half, and I like them especially because they make me feel good that I can fit into 38 jeans, because those are the only 38s on the goddamn planet I can fit into right now. And they've been missing for almost 2 weeks, and I've been bitching about it, and I can't find it. We come home from Billy's last night, and I start up my shit again, being okay, I just lose it. I start looking throughout the house, and then I guess I bugged her enough complaining about it to where she ripped our entire closet apart looking for these jeans that have magically disappeared, which tells me A, they're just hidden somewhere with a magical elf in the damn wall unit, or B, somebody took them by accident. I have no clue. But she threw the clothes in here. She went to go put them back in. She put most of it back in, and I was like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix this up. Of course I didn't fix it today because I'm an asshole. But to be fair, I went to the gym, had to cook dinner. Making a soup takes a couple of hours. I had some other shit that I had to handle, but I'll get to it. But it's helping out our case right this second. It's amazing that she hasn't left me yet, to be honest with you.
So just like Ant, you're on the grind. You were on the grind today. You had STD shit to do. Not gonna say that.
I don't have STD.
Not gonna say that again. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just gonna.
Good God, buddy! What? I will not be patronized here, which, by the way, I already got my troubles going on here. You say that wild stuff to me. What's going on your end right now?
Yeah,
I mean,
dude,
are you in a cemetery?
So this is why we don't record at night, because apparently my camera and the lighting in my room just doesn't really or maybe, forget all that, I just need to go outside more. I need to go touch some grass. So that could be it, you know?
It is a shame that there wasn't a new Twilight movie coming out, because you'd be a perfect vampire with just what you got going on. You're glistening, but I'm not gonna lie, dude, you are paler than a jar of mayo right now.
Well, maybe I'll get some sunlight this week. We're supposed to get some nice weather, so I could
use nice weather.
So.
But it really doesn't matter to me. I hit a sauna every day. That feels like nice weather, And when it plugged the pod in the sauna today to a random guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
He subscribed and listened, So he was like, you got Spotify? I was like, of course I got Spotify. I typed it into his phone, as his phone is literally, burning in the damn sauna. But you know what's been burning in my mind this entire day? A top 10 list of best players in the NBA. As we said, this started with whether or not Jalen Brunson is Dookie. I don't think he's Dookie. I don't think he's elite. I think he's really, really good. I think he's right outside the top 10. I think I have him 12 on my list for superstars in the NBA, and I think you're going to hate one of the guys that I have above him, but,
So, yeah, like you said, this all started yesterday, Sunday afternoon, with Ant calling Jalen Brunson Dookie in our group chat because, Brunson didn't have his best game ever, but he didn't play bad against the Celtics. The Knicks played bad as a totality against the Celtics, but that's besides the point right now. But anyway, with this list, at least for me on my side, Mazz, I don't know what your thought process was when going through it, but the way I thought about it was the top 10 players in the NBA right now who I want this season not taking into account, who I want for the next 5 years. I didn't take out, or I took out players that are injured. Like if Wemby wasn't hurt, he'd probably be on my top 10. If we're talking about top 10 players I want for the next 5 years, Cade Cunningham's probably on my list. But I'm doing right now, right this second, who I want this season going forward.
I mean, I kind of thought about it a little differently. For me, it was more so of a mixture of right this second, just who's better than him, and maybe even build him for the future. Like I'm not like Jalen Brunson is definitely somebody. As we have a guest appearance coming right now. Hello, niece. Anyway, but I thought of all the factors in it, buddy, and I don't know. I just I think he's really good. I don't like the defense. Not in love with the defense from him, but I just think that I factored in everything because I overthink just about everything in life. So my list is going to look way different than yours, but it is a mixture of past, present, and future.
I'd say mine's a healthy balance of that as well. But what do you say we get to the coin flip here to see who goes first in terms of reading their list?
I'll call it in the air.
All right. I'm gonna ask Siri. So hold up. Here we go. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Heads.
It's tails. I don't know if you can see that, but it's tails.
Why is it always tails? Tails never fails.
Tails never fails. Tails never fails. My top 10.
Starting from the bottom?
Starting from number 10, going down to 1. The top 10.
Oh, you're doing your whole list.
Whole list.
Oh, I thought we were going back and back for tens, but that's all right.
You want to do that?
No, give me your list. No, I want your whole list.
All right, okay. All right,
what do you want?
starting from number 10, I'm just going to go straight through the whole way. You can tell me how wrong I am, and then we'll go through yours, and I'll tell you how wrong you are, okay?
Sounds good. You mean how right I am, Charlie.
All right, so starting at number 10, at the very bottom of the list, the 10th best player in the NBA right now is Jalen Brunson. I don't have him any higher than that because, yeah, there are some limitations with his game. Defense, on-ball defense, not great. Although, where I will get you with his defensive abilities, he took the second most charges in the league last year. Not 100% sure where he's at right now with that, but still, he's doing what he can defensively. And as a scorer, I mean, the Knicks offense flows through him in the playoffs last year, the year before. He was able to score at will. So this guy, to me, a playoff riser, even when given his size as a small point guard, still one of the 10 best players in the league right now. Down to number 9, Steph Curry.
Timeout.
Go ahead.
Timeout. I thought that Brunson was going to be within your top 6 at least.
No.
He made Tay squeaked in?
Yes.
You're reasonable about this?
Yeah.
I don't even want to disagree with you anymore. You were reasonable. I don't think it's insane to have him at I thought you were gonna have him way higher. I couldn't wait to actually rip him to shreds this entire thing. So it's just you've taken all the excitement out of this for me. Well, not completely, because I think you're gonna put guys in the wrong order. But other than that, I do not understand, my friend, how you've been advocating for him just to sneak him in there at 10.
I mean, it's only fair. I mean, he's never gotten to the conference finals as the number one option. He got there with Dallas, but that was Luka's.
Keep that in mind.
That was Luka's team. It's just in terms of accomplishments, hasn't been an MVP. 2-time second team All NBA, All-Star starter, 2-time I think. So that's where I got him at for now, number 10. Maybe when he makes a conference finals, then we'll talk about moving him up a little bit. And don't get me wrong, I love Jalen Brunson. It's my captain. It's my dog, but. Number 10.
I'm a little disappointed. I thought you were going to ride harder for him.
Nah. All right, moving to number 9, Steph Curry. Steph, this year has not been great. Has not been
low?
Yeah, it's not been amazing for Steph this year. He's definitely taken a step back athletically. Still the best shooter in the world. That's never going to change until he retires, probably, because it's hard. It's kind of hard to lose a step shooting, like in terms of losing your athleticism, especially for him. I don't know. Steph at 9. I got Kevin Durant at number 8. So
spoiler alert, not even top 10 on my list.
Really?
Didn't make it. They're not doing enough. You got to be doing a little something within the last couple of years for me to really prop you up. I like KD. I think KD's top 15.
Having a good year. He's having a good year.
Sure, individually, but the team is, whack, and I don't see it's not like there was a trade that I can see him do. They're not going to do anything. There's somebody on this list that I think you're going to disagree with that is in a new situation that I've been hyping up that is absolutely I have to have better because I know that team's going to have bigger and better aspirations than what the Suns are going to do. No disrespect to KD. I like him. I've loved him for years, but he's not who he used to be. He didn't end up being who I thought he was going to be. And it is what it is. It's all love. But I'm sure he'd probably hate me if he, actually heard this. He might hit another burner and tell me how much of an idiot I am. Whatever.
He just might. Okay. So that's 8, Kevin Durant. Going down to number 7 is Jason Tatum. You could make the case.
Disrespect.
Could make the case he was the best player on the Celtics last year in the playoffs. Didn't win Finals MVP. So the thing with Jason Tatum to me is, I have questions about what the dialogue around him would be if he wasn't on the Celtics. And I know that's unfair because you can't say, oh, but what if he was on a different team, because he's not on a different team and he can't just change that. But I just think with Jason Tatum and his skill set, his talent, the players that are around him, he should be the undisputed best player in the world, and he isn't. Given his talent and what the Celtics have around him, he should be undisputed number 1, and people still have questions about him. Didn't win Finals MVP last year. He's at number 7.
Here's my problem, right? Yeah, you could sit there and think about it. What would LeBron be if he never leaves Cleveland, right? What would Kobe be if he never left the Lakers? Maybe he should have left the Lakers at some point. I don't know. Probably would have been better for him in that mid-2000s. But anyway, before we get off a side tangent, it's just is Jason Tatum corny? Yes. Do most people hate the Celtics? Yes. But I think to fault him for not having better stats for being on that team, there's only one ball, man. And I know he wasn't the Finals MVP, but hey, not your favorite player always doesn't end up the Finals MVP. The best player on the team doesn't always end up being the Finals MVP. I don't think anybody ever thought that Tony Parker was better than Tim Duncan, but when they played the Cavs in that final, the mismatch was more in favor of Tony, so he just shined a little brighter. So I hear you. I just don't love it. And I think we disrespect JT a little too much. I'm a Lakers fan saying this. I know the rivalry hasn't been there for quite some time, since, 2010. But come on, dude. This is the best guy on the best team in basketball. He's got to be higher than 7.
So I actually initially had him at 6, and I switched these two because I thought about who I would rather take individually on a team right now. And number 6 coming in hot is LeBron James. LeBron still producing. He's still producing it at 40 years old. Dude, if you pull Tatum and put LeBron in on that Celtics team, I think they're better. Call me a homer. I think they're better.
I'm a Lakers fan. I love the King right now. I'm enjoying the sunset coming off, even though I've been, screaming at the top of my lungs, he needs to retire and I need the cap space. That's okay. We got Luka. And they still need to build for the future, but that's okay. We have Luka, and I'm enjoying it, damn it. Even though I can barely catch these damn games with this schedule, but I can't wait for tomorrow when Luka makes his debut back in Dallas. I will absolutely be tuning in for that. I will be bouncing back and forth. It's also NJAC playoff time, so our boy Luke and I think CJ are going to be on one of the basketball games. Check out. Shout out RHSN. We wouldn't be here without them, but I'm actually wearing a RHSN winner the show shirt, buddy. However, we're talking about defense. We're talking about the effect. LeBron over JT. I just gotta say no. Just out of the age factor. Out of the finals last year, he got there. Okay, whatever. Continue.
So, like I said, it's not really 100% based on age. It's who I'm taking this season right now. And LeBron's even a little dinged up, but I still think he's bringing more to a team. Sure, he's not bringing as much defensively as Tatum is, but in terms of distribution, I think scoring, maybe not as good as a three-point shooter, but I think LeBron's a better player this very second than Jason Tatum. All right.
I'm fact-checking you. Continue.
All right. Number 5, Anthony Edwards. Man.
Ooh, I like that.
Been a dog since day one. Since he got drafted first overall to the Timberwolves, he's done nothing but stamp that franchise as his own. Number 1 undisputed alpha dog. They're obviously having not as good of a season as they did last year, but they're still trying to figure things out with swapping out Cat for Randall and DiVincenzo. But Ant's still that guy. I think once the playoffs come around, he's going to lock back in. And I think Anthony Edwards easily a top 5 player in the NBA right now.
Just so you know, 26.8, 8.8 rebounds, and 5.7 assists, shooting 45% for our boy JT. The King, just to let you know, 24.7 points, 7.7 rebounds, 8.8 assists, 51.8 from the field. I understand what you're saying, but when you factor in defense, it's not even a question for me, buddy.
That's
but
fair.
Continue.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why we're here. That's why we're here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 4, Giannis, the Greek Freak. It's tough. It's almost like people have kind of forgotten a little bit about Giannis because he's missed the last 2 postseasons with injuries. But when this guy's healthy, the Bucks are a problem. And I know that they made some moves switching around Middleton for Kuzma, and the roster's not the same as it has been the last few years. But I think if the Bucks can get into the postseason with a healthy Giannis, people are scared of them. I mean, the last time they were fully healthy, I think they took Boston 7 games in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken. So Giannis, people don't forget about him. Still an all-perennial Defensive Player of the Year MVP candidate. So Giannis, number 4.
Is it sad that I'm just like, I'm glad that Giannis is on here. Spoiler alert, he is also within my list. I do think that we've forgotten about him just a little too much. I should like him more. I don't know why I don't. I've just never really been a Bucks guy for the most part. I mean, there's some players that like I do love, and he's a dog. He's everything that I should love in a guy, but I still have a sour taste in my mouth because everybody was clowning on my bubble championship, but nobody wanted to clown him for the COVID championship when more players sat out during that run to the playoffs across the entire span of it than like at least the bubble, like who they miss,
Really?
Will, yeah, because think about it.
More
this, right?
players sat out that following season than the bubble?
Yeah, in the playoffs, think about it, because there was still the COVID rule. So everybody, like Chris Paul missed a game, like in the finals, which I think the Suns ended up winning, whatever. But there was throughout the entire playoffs, like if somebody tested positive for COVID, they had to sit out. Where with the bubble, really nobody was testing positive for COVID because they were literally quarantined. And the only person that I remember truly sitting out was Lou Will because he wanted his lemon pepper wings.
That's right. I do remember that. And then I think Daniel House also Daniel, he played for the Rockets. I think he ordered like Grubhub and like went out, broke the bubble to get it, and brought it back in. And they were like, no.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, like, come on, like, Chris Paul's missing games, Daniel House is missing games. Chris Paul's missing game, Lou Will's missing games. What's more effective, right?
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
So moving to number 3, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think right now the MVP favorite on the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. You could make the case he's probably one of the best scorers in basketball right now. The best player on the Thunder. I do wonder what his production would be like if he wasn't on that good of a team. But
two-way star. He's clamps, bro.
Yeah,
clamps.
All right, and there you go. I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 3rd best player in the NBA right now.
I wish he was a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you might like number 2 because he's on your team. Luka Doncic. 2nd best player in the league right now. I know so when we think back to the finals run last year that they made through the Western Conference, it's just so impressive to me that he was able, not that the Mavericks team was bad at all, because it was a very talented team with Kyrie Irving. They had a lot of great bigs, PJ Washington. It's just, he was the catalyst. He was the engine that made it all run. If you take him out of that, and I know Dallas has been playing well this season with the addition of Klay Thompson after Luka got hurt on Christmas, but I don't think that Mavericks team makes that run last year to the finals, even gets a game off Boston without the magic of Luka Doncic. For me, he's the 2nd best player in the NBA right now. Playmaking, shooting, scoring, and people like to give him crap for his weight and he doesn't give a shit. He tries on defense. If you watch the Lakers, if you watch the Mavericks, you watch the playoffs last year, he tries on defense. Maybe it's not always the best, but the effort's there. The effort's always there.
I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. I mean, like, I'm going to be a little biased right now because obviously, like, I'm still in honeymoon phase with him. I think I'm going to be in honeymoon phase for quite some time. I think I can see myself bitching about the Lakers because that's just what I do. I do not think it's going to be because of him. And if it is him, it's going to be because of defense, but that's not even, like, supposed to be, like, his area, even though I prefer my stars being 2 ways. I was spoiled with Kobe, as we know. However, 2nd, I'm going to be honest, I think it's a little high.
Okay. And then
I think it's a little high.
Number 1 player in the league, reigning MVP, has probably been the best player in the league for the last 3-4 years now. Nikola Jokic, the Joker. Just the all-around package. I mean, it's basically if basically you combine all the best bigs of all time and then put them in one slightly pudgy Eastern European guy, and that's Nikola Jokic, man.
I wouldn't say all the bigs. I also think that he's playing in a softer era than most bigs.
Fair.
That were great. Like, my biggest knock on Jabbar was who he was playing against, right? So I cannot come here and tell you that, oh, Bill Walton he's a really good center, but is Bill Walton a top 5 center all the time? I will say hell no every single time, with all due respect, right? So I will not come here, and he only played against Wilt I think 3 seasons, right, before he ends up retiring. Like, outside of that, I'm sure there were some other good names, but they weren't elite for me. The biggest reason why I highlight Shaq is because he played against elite talent, right? Olajuwon, elite talent. Ewing, elite talent. And Jokic, who's phenomenal. The most skilled guard we ever seen. He's what Arvydas Sabonis would have been in the NBA if he came sooner. However, I just think this is a weak era for big man, especially when his second place competition, and Joel Embiid, for the most part, is always injured. The only other guy who can really compete with them is Anthony Davis, who I love dearly, but he's been out for a little bit as well. And AD did, even though he had LeBron with him, did take him down in playoffs before they end up making a run at it. So it's a little hard, man. Like, I think Jokic should be number 1, and I agree with you there on the list. However, I do think that we slightly overrate him all the time, just because it's been a little weak era for big man in terms of physicality. Skill, I'm with you, but I prefer my dogs than I do prefer my magician skill guys. So that's just me.
Can't argue those 3 MVPs though. Is it 3 or is it 2?
I can argue. Yeah, I think we have reached 3 MVPs at this point, and
should be 4. But
I disagree. I actually think he should only have 2.
Okay.
To be honest, I think the year that he got it too, like, they swapped him and Joel Embiid, they should have been absolutely swapped. And I'm gonna be honest, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should have been the MVP last year, personally.
Well, he might get it this year, so maybe he'll get a little makeup from that.
Well, I mean, there's an argument to be made that he should have back-to-back then, because Shai's been absolutely amazing. I don't want to give too much away here because we got to get to my list. But Charlie, I got to be honest with you. Hearing it, I don't hate it. I hate that you actually came a little bit back down to earth, because the way that you were talking, I thought you were going to hit me with Jalen Brunson top 5.
No.
I love that you weren't a complete homer. You homered me with a little bit of LeBron. I get it. That's your guy. That's your GOAT, whatever. Not the GOAT to me, 3rd place, but we still love him, and thank you for bringing a chip back to La La Land, even though it was in the bubble. But, Charlie, I got to be honest with you. I'm at an 8.5, 9. On the list. I don't hate it. I don't think you were a schmuck about it. I love that you were unbiased. I love that you showed love to your boy in Brunson. I don't think he's top 10, but I love that you had him where you had him on the list. I'm only upset that I didn't get to yell at you more for having him higher. And I think that you're disrespecting Jason Tatum. And I think a lot of the guys, not that they're going to be necessarily all the same and similar, because I will throw some curveballs at you. I do like what you've done with the list.
Appreciate it.
I
like
gotta
that.
give it to you, buddy.
8.5, 9, you said? Just about?
I'm going to give you an 8.5 just to be a little stingy on it. I thought you did a fantastic job. I really thought that you kept the emotion in check, and I loved it. I hate that I love this. I hate that we're agreeing right now. But good job. I'll give it to you, buddy. Kudos.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Now, let me tear yours to shreds. Let me hear it.
How could you tear something to shreds? That's basically perfect, my friend. I mean, listen, I got to give out some honorable mentions right now, because I think that they're ballers. They're great. They've done wonders for the league, but they're just not it right now. Jalen Brunson, you honorable mention. The reason why you're not making the list is because I don't know what the Knicks are going to be. I don't have faith in you guys like I wanted to, right? You guys added a bigger star, and somehow it seems like you got worse, even though the seeding is still relatively around the same. We'll see what the final seeding ends up being, but you added Cat, and you guys are just looking worse. I mean, I think I had more faith in you guys last year before you got injured than I do right this second, because I was like, whoa, this is a big addition. This could actually be it. But you're not competing with Boston with this. You're lucky if you're coming in second place and crashing out in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I don't even know if it's Jalen's fault. Maybe he can pick it up on defense. He's having a hell of an offensive production. But just because I expect more from this team, I'm sorry, Jalen, you're getting dragged down a little bit with it. I love the dude. I like him a lot. I hate talking to Knicks fans because that's all they want to talk about is JB this, JB that, and then somebody throws in a random OG Anunoby, and, that's it. But yeah, JB gets an honorable mention. Mr. Kyrie Irving gets an honorable mention. All right, you want to talk about Batman and Robins? I got a Robin on my list for top 10 because, as you said, you'd like to see him, what he could be able to do in another setting. Well, I am so excited to see what Kyrie Irving is going to do when Anthony Davis ends up back healthy. And if they can add another star in the future, I think there's still like a 2, maybe a 3-year window for that Dallas team. And I think Kyrie Irving is one of the best Robins to ever do it. I think that he's reminded people, yes, Luka got them all the way to the finals. Well, there was really only 2 people having offensive output like crazy. Yes, there was high efficiency coming from Gafford and likely was doing a good job and all that stuff. But it literally, if Luka doesn't have Kyrie, they don't go on that run. That's just the fact of the matter. I think Kyrie Irving does not get the love that he deserves. Anthony Davis, I love you. I miss you. I wish it wasn't you a part of the trade, but you know what? It had to happen. And I want to thank you for the time that you spent. You brought the chip back. You were the most important player for that bubble chip, although we don't win it unless we get the 3 months off so that you could get healthy. But the rest of the league got healthy with it, so it is what it is. But, buddy, thank you for everything. I will not be taking you for granted for what you have done to LA. Yes, LeBron has been awesome, but I firmly believe that you were the best player on that court night in and night out when you actually played. And, hey, the injury bug, although it's hitting you again, and I hope you get back on the court, the last, season and a half, it really wasn't even there. So thank you, my friend, for all that you've done. I applaud you. I appreciate you. But that's it. No more honorable mentions.
The only one I would like to shout out that I really did consider putting on my list was Donovan Mitchell. He's having a really great season. He's been great on Cleveland. Just generational talent, a catalyst for that number 1 seed in the East. But yeah, it didn't crack the top 10 for me.
Yeah, I just lied to you. I have 2 more honorable mentions because I just realized they didn't make the list because I had to revitalize the list. First and foremost, LeBron James.
Not even in your top 10?
No, not right now. Not right now. Dude, not right this second.
You're bugging.
Because you know why? You know why? He had Anthony Davis. And where was us getting higher seeds? We haven't had high seeds since the bubble season, right? You constructed this roster, my friend. You got everything that you want, right? And it just still hasn't been fantastic. It hasn't always worked out. Even the Luka trade, the best trade to happen to us.
I got to push back.
The best trade to happen to us, he wasn't even a part of it.
That's what I'm saying. So LeBron doesn't have personnel to say on the Lakers.
No, LeBron had with a D, and he lost it because they're building past him now.
Which one is it?
What do you mean?
It can't be both. He can't have had it. They're not going to take it away from him.
Cuban?
They're not going to take it away from him while he's there.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
If it's not working out, moving on.
No, hold on.
No.
It hasn't been working out. Charlie, if you run a company, right, and you got a general manager in place. I'm not going to call him CEO. That's Jeannie Buss. Right? I'm not saying that he's the head honcho of the Lakers. I'm saying that he was the head voice of the Lakers, right? And they weren't getting the results that they were looking for. The seeding's not what they're loving, right? So with all that considered, I firmly believe that the power was taken away from him. So I'm sorry. I love you, Bron. You're awesome. I'm loving these Twilight years. Although I've also hated on it in the past. I'm now appreciating because I know it's going to be over soon. But thank you for all the times that you caused me misery when you weren't on my teams. Thank you for the championship that you brought, and thank you for what you contributed to the game of basketball, being a top 3 player all time. All right, but no, I'm sorry. We are entering the new generation. Everybody wants to say that the league's down and this and that, and yeah, I wish it was a little more physical, and I wish some things have changed. But there is young brothers that are just better than the old man right now, and I'm sorry. Which brings me to my other honorable mention. Damian Lillard, I love you, dude. You're awesome. I'm sorry for what this league has done to you. I'm sorry that Portland never got you a second star. Thank you, CJ, for trying to help out, but you're a 3 on any other team that has superstars with it. And don't hit me with, Mazz, he had Zion and Brandon Ingram. Zion was always hurt, and Brandon Ingram might be a 3 himself. I would love to have seen him on San Antonio, as we said, but, not really it. I'm talking CJ McCollum with bona fide star power. He'd be a 3 on your championship squad, not the 2. That's what plagued Portland, and just poor management and salary cap hell, and an unwillingness to trade you before then, even though you wanted to stay. And I'm sorry that Milwaukee hasn't been everything that you wanted to, but you and Giannis haven't been on the court as much as I've liked to see it. I know that's gotten better in the past. I think they're going to make a nice run at it. I love you, Dame. And especially, he's averaging more points, I'm pretty sure, than Jalen Brunson this year, too. He's just so exciting. Loved him for years. That's my last honorable mention. Let's get to this top 10, my friend. Speaking of, it's a new generation they got next, and I just love what I'm seeing from them, especially, I'm pretty sure if we head to my handy-dandy standings, yes, just what I thought. This team is actually ahead of the Lakers, and maybe that might change with Luka, who knows, and I'm not saying that they're going to beat them in the playoffs. I'm just saying, for right now, I got to appreciate what people are doing. My 10th spot, my favorite player in the entire NBA to watch. There's not nobody in this world to me that is more exciting pound for pound than Mr. Ja Morant. I love him. The Grizzlies are 2nd in the hardest conference in the game. They got a nice young core. They're still trying to mix things up. I don't know if it's a championship squad, but I do believe that if he kicks in the way that we've seen him in the past and just, keeps that maturity, stays out of trouble, this is a kid who not only could make a run with his team to a championship this year, this is a guy who could be the face of the NBA. This is Derrick Rose level excitement. This is Russell Westbrook level excitement. I love Ja Morant. That is my 10th spot. We are moving on with it, dude. It's a new generation. But like I said, I'm sorry I didn't give Cade Cunningham honorable mention. He's definitely going to have next 2, but there's just other guys that I got to appreciate more because he hasn't done anything yet. Ja's doing something right now. It's not the most. That's why he's lower on the list, but Ja is doing something.
Not this year. Not this year. He's not.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
They're number 2. They're number 2 for a reason. Number 2 for a reason.
Yeah, because Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane are balling out, and Zach Edey's having a great rookie season.
Listen. Ja Morant, he's got to be there. I love it. All right, stop hating. Brings me to my number 9 spot.
By the way, lowest number since his sophomore year in the NBA. By the way.
Okay, listen, that's all right. Listen. Sophomore slumps happen. That's why that happens. It's been through a lot. All right, little injuries, histories happen. But like I said, Charlie, I mean, tell me who you prefer watching that's more exciting minute by minute
this
of
season,
the game for you.
Season.
For you, I'm just saying.
All of those guys
who's more exciting?
All those guys
I didn't
that
say
I
who's
listed.
better. I said who's more exciting.
I'd get more excited watching Jalen Brunson play basketball.
Okay, if Ja Morant was in a Knicks jersey, it'd be hanging up right there where the Lindor is. All right, my friend. Thank you.
You're probably right. But
where the Brunson jersey.
But I'd also be honest and say that Ja has not been the same this year.
Listen, I get that, but they're still the number 2. He's still the best player on the team. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
Jaren Jackson's great, but Ja Morant is the best player on that team for me, and I love him. That just is what it is. Moving forward, we talked about Batman's. Robins matter. You don't win championships without Robins. I would love to see this man on a new team because the brother's got skills, my friend. Jalen Brunson, the best Robin in the business right now. I got him at 9. I think that
you do have Jalen Brunson in the top 10.
I'm sorry. Jalen Brown.
Oh.
Jalen Brown. I'm sorry. I lied to you. I got confused. Jalen Brown. Number 9, the best Robin in the game. They just came off the chip. They're still the number 1 seed in the East. I'm pretty sure they have the best record in all the NBA right this second, if I'm not mistaken. Cleveland. That's the only one. Number 2 in the East. Just won a title, my friend. And they're going to be Cleveland. Why? Because they're deeper. They got bigger stars. They're still hungry. And I think they got a really good coach too, but there's a case to be made that they're still better coaching coming with it. I would love Jaylen Brown to come over to the Lakers and pair up with Luka Doncic for the future. It's not going to happen, but that is like the dream that like keeps me up at night, the possibility. And I don't think that this guy gets enough credit, especially if you're going to put Tatum low, that's got to raise Brown for you, right? I mean, if you're going to put JT that low, I think Brown just has to be elevated. I'm going to give him the flowers because, you know what? It's hard being a number 1 in the league. It's even harder being a number 2 and sharing the spotlight. And I've never seen a number 2 give a number 1 this much run for their money since Kobe goddamn Bryant gave Shaq. All right? So thank you for that.
Jaylen Brown's numbers also at really low right now, the lowest since his 4th year in the league.
One ball. All right? And winning matters, my friend. Winning matters. Thank you. Let's keep it moving. Speaking of, I love that you got my man Ant-Man there on your list, but he's going to move in to that 8 spot for me. He's a dog. He's exciting. However, I don't see him taking this T-Wolves team back to the promised land like they just were. All right, so for that, he's got to come down a little bit back to earth because he can't do it all. That team's got to get a little bit better. So I'm going to give him his flowers without overhyping him. That's why he's sliding in right now to this 8 spot for me. I mean, you want to talk about a two-way star, Mazz? Yes, he does chuck some shots every now and then, but I'll live with that because the kid loves to compete. I love his mentality, and he's probably my second favorite player to watch in the entire NBA right this second because he's that level of dog. All right? You're going to hate this next one, and I don't care. It just is what it is. Bringing me to my 7 spot, Jimmy Butler. Why? Because Jimmy Butler is going to elevate the Warriors. Jimmy Butler is a guy who's had less help than everybody that we've talked about on this damn list. And still made it to 2 finals. Unfortunately, he met LeBron and AD, and then he met Nikola Jokic. But you know what he did do? He outclawed Boston. He outclawed New York. He outclawed the Bucks, especially the Bucks. I'm sorry, Giannis I got higher on there, but that's because of the accolades. But Jimmy Butler is a guy that does not get his flowers. He didn't get the flowers from Miami towards the end. He didn't get the flowers from freaking Pat Riley towards the end. Even Eric Spoelstra spoke out about it. This is a guy who is more underappreciated than everybody's mothers, because I promise you're not telling your mother how much you love her and how much you appreciate her enough for the average person out there. So please go and do that. But Jimmy Butler is a guy who's a bona fide star, a bona fide stud. Do people have better stats than him every now and then? Sure. Is he only averaging about 22 to 24 points a night? Yeah. But guess what? Two-way star, my friend. And when it comes to playoffs, nobody, I believe, kicks it up better with less help. Jimmy Butler at the 7 spot. Buddy, I appreciate you.
Been banged up. We'll see if he's healthy for the playoffs like he was last year.
I know he will be healthy for the playoffs. And you know what? Maybe if Tyler Hero could have stayed healthy, maybe it might have been a different outcome. I'm not sure about that. But let's not forget, Jimmy Butler got there and Tyler Hero never even played with him in those finals. I don't even think he was in there for the playoffs for most of the part on those runs.
He got hurt in the first round, yes.
You know? They never brought in another star for him. Bam Adebayo's cool, but Bam Adebayo is a number 3 on a championship squad, my friend. Number 3 on a championship squad. Thank you. Keep it moving. That brings me to a guy who, I think, again, just talking about that Warriors theme, is celebrated. I think that he ages like fine wine. Maybe it's a little bit of a down year, but I still don't love the roster construction. I love the move of bringing in Jimmy Butler, and that's absolutely going to change things. But I still question if Kuminga can rise to the level that we want him to with these other 2 stars being there. I don't know if Moody's going to end up being the guy that we want him to be, but nonetheless, and, Draymond is Draymond. Steph Curry, one of the top 10 greatest players of all time. I think I have him at 11. He's right there. 10, I understand the argument. He's a guy that I loved before they were winning championships. He used to be the most exciting guy in the damn league. The only problem is it was the Lil Wayne effect for hip-hop music. Everybody started copying it. They couldn't do it as good, and it just wasn't as fun as a product to consume. But for changing the game, for still being competitive, for giving my Lakers a run for their money every damn year that they met them, and because I think that they can make a lot of damage and noise to teams this year, Steph Curry sliding into that 6th spot. Buddy, thank you. This is where it gets hard for me for the sole fact of I got to make sure that my bias just stays out of it. So I think it's awesome that Luka got to the finals last year. I think it's awesome that Luka's rocking the gold and purple now. However, just looking at what the rosters are going to do this year, what I expect the rosters to do this year, that's what this is coming down for me. I just completely lied to you. It's not him. It's Giannis. I got Giannis.
Number
I got
5?
Giannis right here. Yeah, I got Giannis, number 5.
All right.
Yeah, because Giannis, dude, this is a multiple-time MVP, has got a DPOY within those seasons. This is a guy who just gets after it. That's a dog, and I said that I should appreciate him more, so I am going to appreciate him. I'm going to appreciate him to the right moment, because what have you done for me lately? It has not been great. I wish it was better. However, I got to give it to Giannis. So Giannis slided into that 5 spot, which brings me to my 4, and that is Luka Doncic at my 4 spot. Okay. Only because I do not think the Lakers are going to make this run that Dallas made last year. I still don't love the roster construction. I hope JJ Redick has some bigger moves and ideas further in the future, but just because I firmly believe the people that I have ahead of him, the 3 ahead of him, I firmly believe are going to go farther. That's why they're greater than him this second.
By the way, JJ Redick, solid NBA coach.
Solid. Not great, not horrible. Solid.
So far, solid.
I want to see what the roster ends up being and what if Rob Pelinka makes some big moves, doesn't have to be Luka size, but make some good moves within the next year or two, and then I'll start really judging JJ Redick because it's not like he's had the cream of the crop roster. So we'll see, but solid. Still not my first choice. I still think I wanted my man from UConn. I wish that deal would have been done, but nonetheless.
Well, even UConn's taken a step back this year, so maybe you didn't want him.
Yeah, maybe. Number 3, Jason Tatum.
Dude, Jason Tatum's not a top 3 player in the world.
He's a top 3 player in the world. Why? Because Boston is still here. Listen, dude, we haven't even given Donovan Mitchell any flowers. I forgot him on my honorable mention list, and for that, I'm sorry. Just because I was thinking about everybody else that hasn't been in recent conversations. And I'm sorry that Cleveland's been number 1. I thought the Celtics had caught him by now. I apologize. I've been going through a lot the last couple of weeks, and I promise you this is the last week that I'm using that damn excuse. I will be back on my money, all right? Besides that, all right, so you want to talk about what have you done for me lately? Donovan Mitchell's been giving us the goddamn world. Darius Garland has been giving us the goddamn world. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, they're giving us the damn world, and we're not even appreciating them. But you know what? I am going to appreciate JT. He is corny as hell, all right? I hated all of those fake reactions after they won the damn championship. Yeah, come on, bro. You're trying to recreate KG. You ain't KG, bro, but you know what? You're good. You're good at basketball. And outside of Boston, they do not respect you enough. And you are literally the number 1 player.
That's the problem. Is in Boston, they overrate him. And outside of Boston, he's underrated. I will admit
Manning.
that.
Eli Manning. That's Eli Manning. But he's better than Eli Manning because he's more consistent than Eli Manning. Is he as clutch? I'm not saying that. I don't think so. But he's more consistent. All right, like he puts up those bigger numbers without giving you those turnovers. He puts out better performances than he does bad performances. This is a guy, yes. What are we going to fault him for? Yes, he has a great roster. It's not his fault that he plays for a competent organization. Yes, he has a decent coach. He had a better coach, in my opinion, and he won a championship after that coach left, and they didn't get it done with that good coach. So it's like, I feel like he has less than he did from a coaching standpoint and is doing more. But I cannot fault him for not putting up... Like, he's still putting up really big numbers with that roster is insane. He's still getting his touches. He's still making his impact. And I promise you, if you were to erase him from that team, they are not 2. They are not a 1 seed. They're probably about... I don't know, 5, 6 range. Maybe a 4 if Jaylen Brown can be who I want him to be. But I don't know. This is a guy that we do not love enough, and it's because he plays for Boston. I get it. I also get that the personality could be a little bit annoying sometimes, but he's not a bad guy. This isn't a villain of sports. He's only a villain because he plays for a certain damn city that people tend to can't stand, and I understand. Number 2. I wanted to disrespect Jokic so bad and tell you that he's number 2. Because I'm sick of hearing about it.
Disrespect the Joker.
They gave him one too many MVPs. We hype it up all the time, but you know what? I just can't do it. I can't do it. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is your number 2. This kid was robbed of an MVP last year, in my opinion. He should be the MVP this year. OKC is still one of the top dogs in the West. It's because of him. He's a two-way star. The young man from Canada knows how to hoop, and we all need to take note right now. This should be probably, arguably, number 1, probably number 2, because people love Luka, star that you want to start your team with, that you wish your franchise had for the next decade to come. You should be fearing him every time he walks in the building, not just when it's regular season, right? When I'm talking playoffs, I expect them to get it done, and if it is regular season, they get after it. They love getting their high seed in OKC. They love using those young legs. The only reason why they didn't go further is because they didn't have the experience. If he had a Kyrie Irving on his team, who knows what could have happened. If he had just anything but that young core, like, dude, yes, Chet is there, and Chet's cool. Lou Dort plays some phenomenal defense. They have Hartenstein, who's been a fantastic addition. But make no mistake about it, this team is not even making the playoffs if you take Shai off, and I firmly believe that. The only good thing going against him, the MVP hasn't been crowned yet, but it should have been. And there hasn't been any finals for him, not even appearances. But I believe that he's going to be getting there.
Luka beat him head-to-head in a playoff series. And I would say Shai had the better team.
I don't know about that because Luka had the better second star. And stars matter in playoffs, Charlie. Stars matter. So there's an argument to be made, right? But like,
Second
when you got
star,
that
but like, dude, the
I give you
OKC is
that.
like 8 deep.
Sure, but they're all just young. They were inexperienced. They got caught up in the lights a little bit, you know.
Alright.
So it's like, that's it. That's it. It's the Joker, dude. It was always the Joker. I want to hate on it. I can't. He makes it look effortless. And you know what I hate most of all? Those new shoes that I keep seeing a goddamn commercial for on Instagram are fucking fire. They made tan look good, like the most blandest tan
wait,
actually looks
Jokic has shoes?
decent, dude. He's got shoes, dude. There's Jokic shoes. They've been plastering my Instagram with them, and I can't even lie, dude. They're not bad. I like them. I'd rock those in the street. They're not the greatest shoe of all time, but they're pretty decent.
Pretty cool.
Dude, it sucks that Wemby's not. The only reason, side note, that Wemby's not on here is because of the injury. That's it.
Oh,
That's the only
100%,
reason.
100%.
That's the only reason. So for anybody that gets on us, where's Wemby? Mazz, you hype up De'Aaron Fox. He's not there yet. He's gonna be. When Wemby's injured, that's the only reason why he's not on here. Like, we had to factor that in. These guys were still going to see postseason for the most part. Like, they're a little banged up, but you're gonna see them for the. God willing, they're healthy and are in playoffs. So that's what this was in the mind with. But God, dude, somebody just needs to dethrone the Joker, please. I can't take the greatness anymore.
All right, Mazz, I'm gonna give you a.
Go ahead, hate on me.
I'm giving you a
Ready?
6.5.
I at least had a 7. 6.5 is ludicrous, buddy.
Jaylen Brown is not a top 10 player in the world.
You're insane.
Jimmy Butler, not a top 10 player in the world right now.
You're insane.
Luka at number 4, ridiculous. He's at least top 3.
Stop it.
Jason Tatum's not a top 3 player in the world.
You're insane.
I'm docking 3 to 3.5 or 4 to 3.5 points. It's a 6/6.5.
Listen, did I kind of put some guys that I love on there? Sure. Did I want to give Jimmy his flowers when nobody else wanted to? Absolutely. Did I maybe put him a little high? There's a debate for that. But I stand by the list. I love the list. And I don't give a damn. Because you know what? Everybody wants to talk about stats. Wants to talk about winning. Well, guess what? Jimmy Butler fucking wins games. All right? Jimmy Butler been winning games. I think Jimmy Butler's going to win more games. So it's like, you can tell me that there's guys that are more talented than Jimmy Butler. I will argue there's not guys more effective than Jimmy Butler. And I went by level of effectiveness for this season for me. That was the thought process.
So
There's
then,
my mic drop.
So then
Thank
why
you.
isn't Luka ahead of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Because the Lakers ain't gonna go farther than OKC.
But he just took the Mavs to the finals last year.
Sure, and he's on a worse team.
So that makes him a worse player?
I gotta knock
Gotcha.
off points, buddy. I gotta
Gotcha.
knock off. No, listen, Shai's the better two-way player. That's where Shai's gonna be the MVP. Where's Luka's MVPs? Shai should have had one. Where's Luka's?
Luka could have had one if he didn't get banged up this year. He was one of the favorites before he went down.
That's and you know what? If I was gonna hit you with a crazy statement, but I'll tell you that one off air. But listen, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda is the thing. Injuries happen. So I can't dock a guy. The best ability is availability. I can't dock a guy.
But Jimmy's in your top 10.
Absolutely.
But availability is the best ability though.
Well, hold on. I didn't put Jimmy over Luka, did I?
No,
I
but
didn't
he's
put Jimmy
in your
over
top
JT
10.
Shai. I put him over the guys that I think that he's better than. I'll put him right where I should be.
All right.
And Jimmy has done something for me, not completely recently, but it's only been within the last 3 years. Like, come on, dude, I'm still going to give. And he had less help than everybody on this damn list. I think that you're hating on me. I was generous with you. I should have known better. You just took the white gloves off. You smacked me right in the face. You put it back on, and here we are. Thanks a lot. It is what it is.
All right, well,
I can't stand
so
you.
in retrospect, would you give my list a lower grade or no?
No, because I'm not spiteful like that. I wish I was.
I'm not being
I really wish
spiteful.
I
I'm
was.
just being honest.
No. I didn't say that you were spiteful. I said I'm not spiteful. I'm not saying that you're spiteful. I'm saying because you gave me a bad grade, I'm not going to knock down yours because I could be spiteful. That's just not in me. All right. I like busting balls straight up and having the legitimate ammo that people deserve to get hit with.
Fair and reasonable. All right. We said we were we were texting before this on the phone call. We're like, yeah, quick 30-minute pod. We're 50 minutes deep, so
It just had to happen. It is what it is.
Listen, this is how it happens.
That's the show.
Just how it happens.
Listen, we say that we're giving it to you short. It's just a little bit longer. It is what it is. Say thank you. We give you an extra present with it. 30 minutes. We give you an extra 20. It is what it is. It had to happen. I think this was a perfect episode on a random Monday night that we threw together last second.
Facts.
Because we want to start giving you shorter content, but clearly we can't shut the hell up to give it to you. So just say thank you for the extra episodes, and we're out of here. Don't forget, socials, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever the hell you listen to it. Tell everybody Mazz and Bads needs to be on your screen and in your ear. Thank you. Good night.
You have been listening to the Mazz and Bad Show with Brandon Marrazzo and Charlie Baduini.